So I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm not muted by my friend co-host Alan Murray. Thank you so much
We can hear
for
you.
being my co-host and helping me out behind the scenes. And welcome everybody. Just let me share the presentation. Yes, so it's here. And as usual, welcome everyone. Welcome to this meetup of Microsoft Excel Power Platform meetup for Saudi Arabia. It's one place with infinite solution where you can connect, share, and learn. And we invite some great speaker every month. And today we have uh, Miss Karpagam from India. Okay, she's a trainer, she's a consultant in India, and we have been working. I've been working with Karpagam many times on several occasions where we have um, did a charity course for the Goal organization along with Alan Murray and some other great Excel experts. So I know her from there that time, and I've been following her. And today I got a chance to her to invite to this meetup, and she'll be talking about create interactive dashboards in Excel. So I would leave the floor to Karpagam to where she can tell her about herself more. But let me just quickly tell you about myself if you don't know me, and I hope by now everybody know me. Uh, so I'm Faraz Sheikh, founder of ExcelExciting.com, Microsoft certified trainer and innovative educator, an office master. I love to make YouTube videos and some kind of creative videos. I'm a blogger, and I do run meetups on Saudi Arabia, this platform meetup, and where I meet all of you lovely people. And my passion is to share my knowledge and gain the knowledge, and the mission is to get some easy solution, provide easy solution with Microsoft Office applications. So let me quickly talk about some of our past events. We had Ken, Gasper, Oz, Tanya, my brother Alan, who is already here, Raheem, Oakley. So these are some of the events which we have already organized. And if, in case if you have missed out or you're new here, no worries, you can go and scan this QR code and it will divert you to the playlist. And in fact, you can also go to YouTube/Excel Exciting, and you will find it on the playlist Saudi Arabia meetups. So you can find all of these events over there. And we are live stream and live on YouTube right now. And the upcoming events, which is we have Sandeep Shabra, who will be coming and talking about DAX. And so make sure that you register for his session, and where he will be talking some tips about DAX and how can we make the model faster. And here you have the QR code, so you can scan that. Lovely. And what is happening around the world? Okay, so today I'll be just talking about that. What is happening around the globe? We have some great Excel meetups are there. We have for Toronto, we have for Canada, we have for Romania, we have for London. And if you're interested, the whole month you wanted to connect with these speakers and see what they are presenting it. So you can go and join their meetup group and you can come to know. And by the way, I'm going to speak tomorrow, okay, on Celia meetup. So Toronto, I'll be speaking it on the meetup. So let me show you something which I have kept it for this meetup. By the way, this page is still in process of developing, but if you go Excel Exciting / meetup, you can find all the meetups groups over here. In fact, we have from Nigeria, Azerbaijan also. Yes, Baku. Sorry, I cannot forget my friend Ilgar also. So all these meetups are happening over here, and you can just go and check the meetup on this page. And if you just filter it out, any month like month of August, if you'd like to see, you can come to know for the month of August. As I told you, that it's still in process, but anyhow, you can just click on this and it will divert you to that meetup page. So this thing is still in process, And all the meetups which are there, which had happened in the past, you can come over here, you can come to know the speaker name, the date, and it has been hosted by whom, and all the YouTube links are also available over here. So I hope this resource would be really helpful. So you can, in case if you have missed out some sessions or you want to see for a specific speaker, then you can just go and check it out over here. This page is still in development. I'm developing it, but it is live. I would just keep it open for you and you can just go and check it out. Okay, coming back to my presentation. Great. And I know in the community we have a lot of superheroes, and so I would encourage you that you please come up front and please come and speak for the events, anywhere on my meetup or anywhere that if you're interested, then you please drop me an email on excelexciting@outlook.com. I would definitely get in touch with you, or you can connect with me on the LinkedIn also. Last but not the least, and just a quick housekeeping about just to make sure that you keep your mic mute and you can turn off your video for getting a better buffer, getting a good internet connectivity. So in case if you're facing any problem in the connection, then uh, you can just exit the session and join back the session. And if you have any questions, feel free to write in the chat. Just when you start writing a question, just mention Q before the question so that it can be easy to find it out in the chat. And this session is live streamed right now and being available on my YouTube page on YouTube/Excel Exciting. Now I'll leave this floor to my friend, Karpagam, where she will tell us. And by the way, end of the session, we have a special guest, Dick, who will be telling us some secret about his new add-in. So make sure that you are being there for that. So this is a surprise end of the session of Ms. Karpagam. Over to you, Karpagam.
Thank you, Faraz. That's a wonderful presentation. Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to see all of you on a great platform, and especially towards the night, I could see everybody is full of energy and wants to learn something. But my journey with Excel started way back in 1999, and it was by then it was not Microsoft Office; we had Star Office, and I gained the skill from my dad, who's always want to explore each and every one of the area. And soon after that, no looking back, then from Star Office, I migrated to Microsoft Office. And you start to work with Microsoft Office, you develop a flair towards learning what it is all about. It's not only with Excel, even let it be Word, let it be PowerPoint. But the strength what Excel gives you is amazing and beyond description. And I started teaching Excel during the year 2006 and 7 onwards, I started doing that. But over a period of time, basically I'm a professor by profession. I'm a professor. I have a PhD in supply chain management. And my passion towards teaching never stopped me from learning anything, and Excel is one among that. And over a period of time, I developed lots of courses, and one of the flagship program that I ran is on supply chain analytics and business forecasting for executive. This is one of the most sought after program by the executives. And over a period of time, I could realize how much over the kind of a training you do and give it to them. By the end of the day, when they come back to the next session, be it advanced Excel or the continuation of what you're trying to do, they come as a clean slate. So that's when I realized the importance of starting a YouTube channel, and I run a YouTube channel called as Karpagam Excel. And I have worked with Alan Murray, Faraz, and so many other people, Oz, and I have worked with Celia and so many other people. And it's a wonderful community to work with everybody, because I believe it's a everyday learning that we do, especially when it comes to Excel. And for the same thing, we are going to come across with different methodology, at least 10 different methodology to solve it. And today I'm going to talk to you people regarding building a dashboard. This building dashboard session, interactive dashboard session, is not going to have any formulas at all, but we are going to build it without a formula. What I'm going to do is, at the very first level, I will take you to pivot table. because this is going to be the base for building the dashboards. And once from the pivot table, I'm going to take you how can you construct a unidimensional table, then how can you create a two-dimensional table, multi-dimensional table, and to what extent you can use a filter and what are the various functionalities available in a pivot table. And from there, I'm going to take you to construct the dashboard using slices, and if time permits, we will look into timelines as well. And by doing this, you can see it's all about the kind of a creativity what you bring into your dashboards. Day in and day out, we create lots of dashboards, no doubt about that. But to what extent we are carrying the message that is required for the end user? Is the dashboard helping them to make a decision? This is what at the end of the day we want to realize. And today I have taken a very small data, and this data is going to talk about what are the various categories that we have in, and what are the different sales manager for the different regions we have gotten that we are going to talk about. Then we are going to talk about what are the states available, and specifically I'm going to stick to the data from the Indian scenario. This data is based on the Indian scenario and how much of sales they have done over a period of time. And this is going to talk about a 3-year data period. Thanks for us. And this is going to be a 3-year period, and we are going to talk about how did the cash payment happen. Is it via cash or is it via card? And how was the delivery performance by the people? Is it a delayed delivery? Is it an on-time delivery? And along with that, we are going to look at, is it based on, or is it the one of the important factor for the people to come back, or whether the people had stopped it, or whenever we are running a promotion, is it helping the people to come back to us? That is what we are going to find out in terms of what kind of a customers do we have to a great extent. And finally, we are collecting the feedback from the customers regarding how is the service that's offered to them. Are they satisfied on a 5-point scale that we are going to talk about? It's going to be about highly satisfied, being 5 being the highest, and least satisfied being the 1. And based on this, now we want to create a dashboard to help the manager to make a decision. So in order to do that, we are going to look at the various visualization techniques, but I'm not going to take you through. Whenever we talk about a visualization techniques, we have gotten various charts that we can do, or we can use data parts from conditional formatting, and so many other valuable information is available. But the beautiness of this pivot table lies in the way it allows you to bisect the data. And especially when we talk about bisecting and dissecting the data, it helps us to slice the data, and at the same time, it's help us to dice the data as well. And once this is done, it is going to allow us to look at what are the most important information that we have to look at, and what are all the least important information. Dashboard building is an art as well as a science. Knowing about what information to exclude from the dashboard and what information to include from the dashboard is going to help you in building a great dashboards. The answer lies in with a great vision. In the same way, the great dashboard comes out of with having a thorough understanding on what kind of information you are looking out from the dashboard. Is it necessary to carry all the information, or is it required to carry only the relevant information? So based on this, we see pivot table is one of the most important when it comes to dashboard building. And within pivot table, it's lots and lots of tips and tricks are available. And each and every one of the tips and tricks is completely dependent on what kind of a situation and what kind of a data we are looking at it. And one after the other, I will take you through. So now this data is a basic data which is converted into a sheet. Now what I'm going to do is, this data is converted into a table. By any chance, if at all you're going to have a fresh data, I'm going to show you that as well. I'm just selecting the data. When this is a table and when I want to convert this into a basic information, what I'm going to do, right click on the table that you have created, and from the table, just go and click on convert to range. So this is going to completely take your table away, and this is going to give you the basic table. And from home tab, you can go back and you can clear whatever the formats that you have gotten. And this is going to ensure that you are going to have the raw data, and from this data you are going to do everything starting from the scratch. Now that you have the data with you, at the very first level, what we are going to do is first select this data, whatever the data that's available. So in order to do that, you have gotten two methods to do that. First of all, I'm going to show you some of the shortcuts that what we can do. First, what you can do is you can use Control, Shift and down arrow, and then you can use a right arrow to do this. Let me show you this as well. If at all you are new to pivot table and new to Excel, and I could see lots of new people have joined. So for you people, this is the one. So once you have selected this one, you have selected by using Control Shift down arrow and Control Shift right arrow. Or no, Karpagam, this is lots of keystrokes here. Let me not get into that. Then what you can do is just click on anywhere and then hit Control A. This is going to select your entire table. Yes, it's amazing. So what you can do is you can click on any cell. Soon after that, you can hit Control A. This is going to select your entire table. So whichever the keyboard shortcuts that you are comfortable, the keystrokes that you are comfortable, you can follow that. Say, let's say I have selected this, and in order to convert this to a table, okay, in order to convert this to a table, you can use two keyboard shortcuts. Either you can depend on Control T or you can use Control L also. Both the things are going to get you the same scenario. So for example, as of now, I'm using Control T. This is going to get me create a table shortcut dialog box. It's going to create it. And do not forget to click on My Table Has Headers and then click OK. Otherwise also you can do using Control L. Now I'm hitting Control L. Again, it gives me the same one. And don't not forget to click OK. So now our basic requirement of converting a table is done. But the most important of all this is we need to give the name to the table, that what kind of a table name that we are going to give it. So I'm going to give this name as Excel Exciting, and for this session, Excel Exciting _1. And I have created the table name. But how do you check whether you have gotten the table name or not? Just go back. This is called as a name box. Just go back here. And when you check in, we have given this name and this name is available. Once I click on this, this is going to select the entire table for me. So now that our table data preparation is done, let's move on and what way we are going to create the pivot table. For creating the pivot table, there are two possible ways that you can do with creating the pivot table. One, straight away you can just go to Insert and click on from table range. You can do this. Or if at all you want to use any shortcut key, you can follow this. It's Alt N V, and after that you have to hit T. Let me show you Alt N V and then hit T. Again, it's going to get you the same table. If you're not a shortcut geek, it's better to go to Insert tab, and from there you can pick up a pivot table. So when we talk about pivot table, it's not only from our internal data set that we are going to have it. You can download it from a Power Query, or you can download it from any kind of an external source as well. And you can import your data and you can start to work with the data. At the first level, let me create a data range for Excel Exciting. So let's create it. So when we talk about this pivot table, there are few functionalities that we need to know. First, let me come to the pivot table fields. In the pivot table fields, whatever the data that I have gotten from my main table, I'm going to have all these things as a header, whatever the header that you have gotten. The main advantage of creating a table is whenever you want to add on any data, it automatically gets created or gets added up to the data. Let me show you this as well. So for example, we have gotten the satisfaction level, and next to the satisfaction level, let's say we are running a discount or we are releasing a coupon, and we just want to know, did we issue the coupon to the people? Have they taken the coupon or not? This is what we want to identify. Now just look at it. When I hit enter, automatically this is going to be converted into a table element. Only because of this reason we say it's always important to convert whatever the data that we have into a table. So once we have done that, at the next level, we need to identify what are the various informations that we have gotten. So we have gotten date, sales manager and all that. There are times when you have gotten a huge header and you're not knowing which data you need to go take it. And every time scrolling through this is really a time consuming process. So instead of that, what you can do is you can just go to the geared sign. And when you click on this, you can see sort A to Z. So it's going to get me all the data, whichever is relevant, starting from the alphabet A till the alphabet Z. And based on this information, you can go ahead. And not only that, say for example, this is the basic default pivot table layout that you will have. But by any chance, if you want to change that layout also, you can just go ahead. Say for example, field section and section area side by side. If you want to have that also, you can just drag it, you can change it to this one. Or if you do not want that one, or you want only the area sections alone, and you want a different feeler altogether, then in this way also you can look at this data. Let me just go back and revert to our previous sections of looking at this. This is the most comfortable one that I come across. And when we talk about pivot tables, anything in Excel, everything is possible. The only thing is we need to give the proper instruction to Excel to do what kind of a task that we are looking for. Excel can do anything for us. The beautiness of the data lies in, first of all, with the data dicing. To what extent we can go ahead and dice the data. So when we talk about dicing the data, that's when pivot table really comes in handy, and we can go ahead and create a unidimensional table, and then we can go ahead and create a multidimensional table, two-dimensional and a multi-dimensional table also. So this is going to help us to dice the data in whichever the format that we are going to look at. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, let me show you how to create the first unidimensional table over here. Yes, I could see a few messages in the chat box. Faraz will answer to all that. Okay, now, so when we have opened the pivot table, we could see the field list is not visible. And you are going to find out where exactly this has gone, and this is going to put you in a very difficult situation. It's very simple. You just go back and click on it here. You're going to get your pivot table fields over here. And now at the very first level, with the given set of data, a huge data, I just want to see what's happening with my data. Now look at this table. Within this table, I have gotten starting from this to this place till the end of the table, I have gotten 600 data. And we have gotten the sales manager region wise and the state wise. We have gotten so many detail here. But I'm really interested to find out how many sales managers do we have gotten. This is the one of the way that I want to dice the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take first level. What I'm going to take is I'm going to take the sales region to the values. And now what I want to understand is this much of sales had happened, and we want to understand how many sales people are available over here, how many sales manager or sales representative are available. So in that case, I'm just going to take a sales manager to the rows. Now you can see we have gotten these many number of sales managers over here. But look at it, out of a 600 data, we have gotten only a handful of sales manager who is pulling out all the workload that's necessary to run the business in the organization. So looking at this now, you can see you have gotten these many number of sales representatives only. But out of 600 data, these sales are made completely by these people. So now we have got this information. Now, what will happen if at all you want to move the data from one end to another end? Please be assured we have gotten a lots of sales representatives or the sales manager over here. When I just drag it to the column, you can see this is going to be a completely a mess. And you have to scroll through to see all that. So it's always best whenever you have gotten a large amount of data, it's always best that you're going to keep this in whichever the positions that you're going to look for. That's most important to have in whatever the kind of a scenario that we have gotten. So after you have gotten Okay, this is what the total number of sales that had happened. But we just want to see what will be the count of these sales. Okay, let's say we have gotten 59,700, we have gotten 59,700, we have gotten. Now I just want to understand how many or what is the count of the sales, the total count of the sales that had happened here. So what I'm going to do, first level, I can just do a right click and click on summarize value by. By default, it's going to take sum. If you want count, you can take the count, and we are going to say only from a sale of 17 items, okay dear, or whenever we have mentioned it as in few thousand. With these many number of sales, they were able to garner these many number, this much of revenue for the organization. And this is too much to handle if at all you're talking about. I will show you how to reduce this or how to concentrate this as well. Okay, fine, we have gotten the count. But is there a way that I can find what is the minimum value that we have gotten or what is the maximum value that you have gotten? Again, you can just go ahead, just right click and go to summarize value by. You can pick up max. It's going to show what is the minimum maximum value from with regard to each and every one of the sales managers. It's not to the entire data set, but with regard to each and every one of the individual. So whatever the sale they have done, what is the maximum sale that they have created. For the same people, if we want to identify what is the minimum sales that they have done. So minimum also we have and maximum also we have. So given this scenario, we just want to understand what is the average also. So just click on it. This is what the average that we are going to get. And in the similar way, you can do it for a product. No, Karpagam, I'm looking for something more as well. So in that scenario, what you can do is you can just go to more option. And whatever you want to identify, you have gotten variance, you have got standard deviation. You can see standard deviation you have gotten variance and many more that you have gotten. And you can do all that using this one. Okay, now let me revert back to the summarize values by sum itself. But by any chance, when I want to find out, I want to list the data from smallest to largest data or from largest to a smallest data also. What I can do, right click, when I do a right click, I have gotten sort. And when I just go and click on this, you can see as of now, we have gotten Abdullah at the very first level. We have gotten Abdullah. But when I just do a sorting, you can see this really works with the pivot table. So we have gotten the smallest to the largest data. And if you want to change it to largest to smallest also, you can have the data. At the very first level, we had Abdullah. Now, when we have given the largest to the smallest data, then we can see Rosie has got the highest number of sales when compared to the other people in the organization. So in the similar way, okay, Karpagam, this is too much to handle, these many number of salespeople. And give me a situation or help me out how I can reduce this. So what you can do is, you can just see the drop down list box here. Okay, you can just go and click on it here. You will have the label filter and you will have the value filter. In the value filter, you can just go down and click on top 10 items. By default, it will show you top 10. But no, I don't want to look at top 10. I want to look at only top 5. You can just go and reduce it here for to the top 5. Or no, Karpagam, I just want to look at only the bottom value and not the top value. Then you can go to the bottom value, and you want a bottom value, you can find out, or you want a top value also, you can just go and click on. You can increase it to any extent and you can decrease it to any extent. But while making pivot table, especially for a dashboard construction, please be assured we want to understand the key points or the key information. Not every data is important to us. That's very important. And not only that, when you look at this here, do I want to find out what is the top 5 percentage or what is the top 5 some elements that we have gotten? And when you get into advanced dashboard elements, then this comes into play. For the basic level, let's stick to the item itself and click OK. And now you can see this is going to get reduced only to the top 5 item. By any chance, if you feel no, I wanted to 8 items, you can just go back here, click on top 10 and increase it to top 8 sales representatives that you have gotten. This way also you can work. Next level. You have gotten some of sales. But am I talking to you people in terms of a dollar or in terms of a yen or in terms of a pound or in terms of a currency? What currency I'm talking about? When you just want to find out, just right click on it and go to number format. When you want to insert any kind of a currencies over here. So this is when this is going to really come in handy. Just click on currency and go back. As of now, I want to use Indian currency. By any chance, if you want to use dollar or if you want to use yen or pound or whatever the currency that you want to look at, you can check it. As of now, I'm going to stick to rupee only. Click OK, and all this is going to convert it into a rupee value, or you can insert any value that you want. So this is what we are going to look at, one of the most important scenario. But I want to show you people one important scenario over here. Let's say, by any chance you want to find out, Karpagam, I want to see the records of all these people. I want to see the records of all these people, what they have done. So now what you can do is, you can just go to sum of values end and just double click at it. Immediately, this is going to open a sheet which consists of only of Rosie, not any other people. Just look at it. In the first table, I have just clicked on only at the values of Rosie. Just double click it. This is going to open all the details pertaining to only Rosie. And you can see Rosie is assigned to the South region and she caters to different states of the South region. And second, you can go back and you just want to find out Robin belongs to which region and what he's doing. So when you double click at it, you can see you have gotten the data pertaining only to Robin and not to any other candidates. This is indeed amazing to work with pivot table. Only pivot table has got the strength and the stamina to pull this much of a table when compared to the other. And even without writing any formulas, just at the snap of your finger, you will be able to extract the data using these methodologies. I just deleted. Okay, so now we have created a unidimensional data. What happens if we have to create a multidimensional data? There are two methods. One, you can create a copy of this sheet, or you can go to insert, and from insert again you can create another one. Let me show you how to create a copy of this. For time being, I'm just making this as a unidimensional table. Just look at this. When I just do a left click, you can see a small document icon over here, a small document icon. I can just hold control along with it. Within the document, you can see a plus symbol, which means it's ready, the data is copied, and you can just leave it, and you can just leave it automatically. A copy of this particular pivot table will be created. Just look at this, a copy is created. Or you can just go back to the regular method. You can go to table, and from which table we want to do it. We have given Excel anxiety. So you can just go back to the data, and from here you can say, you can just look at your data, and you can see we have given the name Excel exciting underscore 1, and on the existing worksheet or on the new worksheet you want. Now look at this. There are two ways of creating these kind of a data. So now, how about you want to move it? Let's say when we want to look at this, click on this. We have gotten sales manager or sum of sale. Karpagam, I just want to remove this data. I don't want this data. What are the best possible ways that I can do? So what you can do is just click on this. One, when you just click on this pointer, you can see a remove field, it will go there. Or if you feel that this is too much to handle, what you can do is just you can drag out of it. The moment when I bring it out of the pivot table, you can see a red cross mark symbol is available here. This is to state that when you just leave it, this will completely go out. Now you can see it's back to its position. So this is the best way that you can tend to work with it. So at the second level now, what do I want to do is, let's say I just want the sales. Our sales is the primary value here. And I just want to take the category over to the rows because we have gotten lots of categories over here. So this is a unidimensional table for us. Now, with the unidimensional table itself, you can do a lot more. Okay, so far we have seen summarize values by. Okay, this is what we have done. Now what I want to do is, I'm just going to create another sales to the value column. We have gotten some more sales and some more sales too. What are we going to do here? One, you can either turn your data into a count value, okay? Summarize values by count. You can stick to that and you can keep some more sales, or you can keep some more sales as such. But I'm going to show you one important thing. Okay, all that is fine. We have gotten the category, we have gotten the category sales, all that is fine. But I just want to find out what is the contribution of this to the total sales of the organization. So in that case scenario, what I will do a right click and go and click on show values by percentage of grand total. When I click on that, you can see automatically this goes and does a calculation regarding which has got the highest sales here. And here we can see we have gotten a refrigerator, if I'm not wrong. Yes, that's the right one. We have gotten the refrigerator at the highest level we have gotten. And next to the refrigerator, we have gotten 18 percentage. Then we have gotten 11.61, sorry, 12.50 we have. And 12.50 we have got for the washing machine as well. So this is going to help us to identify what is the value that is generated year on year. Either you can find out Y on Y performance also, year on year performance you can find out, or Q on Q also you can find out. So this is the speciality of using that. But is there anything else that we can do out of it? So then you can, what you can do is, just give me a minute, let me clear the ink. Okay, so now what you can do is just do a right click, show values as so far we have seen the grand total. Okay, so next one row total also, let's go and look at it. But this is going to look at, because you did not have any other comparison, any other data to compare, that's the reason it considers this data as a unique data and tends to do it. Only when you have a comparative data, this is going to work in. And you can have a running total in percentage, and this is going to say, do I have to look into the category for the running total? Yes, you can do a running total also. So with unidimensional, be it a unidimensional or a two-dimensional or a multi-dimensional table that you can do. Or you want to do from rank from the smallest to the largest, look at this one. This is going to do from the largest to the smallest. And you can use a sort to see from largest to smallest, which is the first item that we have gotten. It's a refrigerator. Then next to that, you have gotten washing machine and so on. Or in other way, we can do it from smallest to largest also. Show values as largest to the smallest, which we have earlier also we have done it. So this is going to say this is the best way that we can do. So with unidimensional table, this is possible. Now what I'm going to do, let me just take out this out. So we have gotten the category and we have gotten the sum of sales. But I just want to understand with regard to the region, how are they performing? So I'm just going to drag the region to the column wise. Okay, so it says a report cannot overlap another pivot table. And okay, I don't want to create another pivot table over here. So what I can do is, now look at this one. In this scenario, I'm just going to create a region to the column, and now you can see what happens. The moment when I bring in the region to the column, and pivot table is beautiful. Look at this. So far, when without having a region, when you look at the individual data, we were thinking everything is good, everything is going normal, and people are doing extremely good. But look at it, the moment when we bring in the region over to the column, you can see what's happening with regard to this. Look at this. Rosie has not done any sales when it comes to east, north, and west. You can just look at this east, north, and west. We do not have any data. And all the sales comes from the south because Rosie is assigned only to a particular location. Okay, and with regard to each and every one of the individual, you can see they are assigned only to a particular individual. So now we got to know this data is not going to help us. Okay, now let me just take a region out of it. Let me understand in terms of a category wise what's happening. Now look at this one. Rosie, when it comes to gaming, look at this particular space. Watch out for this particular space where Rosie has not done any sales when it comes to gaming. Okay, and look at Ashmita has not done anything when it comes to furnishing. Krishna has not done anything when it comes to the camera in the particular region, and the list goes on. The more the data slicing that you want to do, slicing you want to get into the mode of dicing. This is when pivot table comes really handy, and this is the best way that you can create a two-dimensional table, two-way or two-dimensional table, wherein you have got one values to the rows, the other values to the column that you have gotten. Now, what is this one thing we have gotten called as a filter? This is one of the most important thing and amazing things that can happen. Now, just look at this multi-dimensional data. Your two-dimensional data, I'm just going to convert this into a multi-dimensional data. So what I'm going to do, let me try to understand out of all the sales, how many of the people make a card payment and how many of the people make the cash payment. So what I'm going to do, let me just go here and click on card alone. How many of them are making the card payment? Then we can see over a period of time how this is happening. And to a great extent, people are making a card payment only, not a cash payment. Now, when we just turn this from a card to a cash, let's see what's happening. Even there also, we are going to look at this. Now, let's try to understand. We want to roll out a promotion or we want to roll out the offer to the customer if at all they are paying by card or if at all they are paying by cash, we want to understand. So given that scenario, let me understand where is the pattern of usage. Is it more with the card uses or are they willing to pay more in cash? Accordingly, we can release the discounts. So what I'm going to do, cash we have given. Second, I'm just going to drag this region to the filter. Now, in the filter also, let me just go and understand what's happening in the East region when it comes to the cash payment. What's happening when it comes to the card payment. So you can just play around with it to and better understand how your data progresses over a period of time. And this is a non-overlapping data because the sales representatives are assigned only to a particular location or the territory, and they do not have a pan-India sales or pan-India location they do not have. And as a result of that, you will not see much of a overlapping data. This is a good data that we are dealing with it. So in this way, you can go ahead and create whatever that you want to look at in terms of this one. Or I just want to identify, instead of a category, let's remove the category. Let me identify how many of the customers are coming out of a referral customer, returning customer. So in that case, what I do is, instead of keeping this as a sum, I just want to summarize this value by count. And let me understand, I just want to remove this currency value. And look at this now. We can see to great extent, is it going to be the active customer or is it going to be the returning customer or what kind of a customers that we are getting in. And based on that, we can look at, is the promotion working well with the people or is it something going wrong here? Or in other terminology, you can take out this referral and you can just put in feedback. Okay, delivery performance that we can take it. So what is the delivery performance that's happening? Just give me a minute. Okay, now look at this. I have removed the currency format. So we just want to understand what is happening in terms of a card payment and in the West region. And here, if you want to add the category also, you can go ahead and take this into the filter region and try to understand. Let's say for the books, what is the on-time delivery? Is the people, whether the people are getting the on-time delivery or is it a delayed delivery, to what extent? All this information is available to a great extent within this. So at snap of your finger, you can move your unidimensional data to a two-dimensional, from a two-dimensional to a multi-dimensional. It's all about the requirement at the end of the day. Just because we can create a pivot table doesn't mean that we can do everything. Look at the requirement. What is the client requirement? Whenever we talk about creating a dashboard, it's meant for the end users. It's not meant for the people, those who are creating. But at the end of the day, you have gotten the user. And if the user is not able to make a decision or the user is not able to come to a conclusion, That's when we see the data board dashboard that we have created using the data board is of no use. And pivot table is such a great tool which can help us in overcoming these obstacles or these shortcomings. Now let's move on to create pivot table, pivot charts, and after that we can start constructing the dashboards. So let me erase all this data out first. Okay, so now we are good to go. What do I want to do exactly from this data? I just want to understand for all my top 5 sales managers, which region is giving me more sales, which category is performing, and how is the sales happening from year on year. We have gotten the data starting from 2018, 2019, and to the extent of 2020 also. So what is happening when it comes to the sales for the last 3 years we want to identify. And over a period of time, how many of the customers come back to us and what is the mode of the payment that they do. And we have over a period of time started to collect the customer satisfaction and the delivery status also, or another term, we can call this as a delivery performance. So I don't want to cluster or I do not want to pollute my dashboard by creating a lots of pivot charts and a pivot table. Based on the requirement, we will see what needs to be created. And for that data, I'm just going to look at few slices to ensure that are we getting the right information over that. So what I'm going to do, first level, just go back. We have created the table. Let me insert a pivot table. Go to insert from data table orange to a new worksheet. We have got it. So let me name this sales by managers. So sales by managers. So first level, what I'm going to do, take the sales to the value and the sales manager to the rows. We have gotten these many number of people. I'm going to look at only the top 5 I'm going to look at. I don't even want top 10. I am just looking for overall my top 5 performers in this particular region. So sales by managers we have completed. At the next level, I just want to find out the sales over a period of time. So I'm just taking the sales manager out. And for this one, I'm going to take the date and put it in a rows. Now you can see by default, it's going to get me years, quarters, and dates. When I just go and click on years, it's going to bifurcate this into quarter 1, quarter 2, Q3, Q4, and for the same, it goes on. Now, when I click on quarter 1, I'm going to have Jan, Feb, March. When I click on quarter 2, I'm going to have April, May, June, and this goes on. So the moment when we are going to deal with this huge amount of data, we will not be able to fit that within our dashboard. So we need to understand, is it that we need the quarter or is it that we need the month? Now I just want to see how are we performing year on year, and I don't want to see the quarter performance, rather than I want to see the monthly performance. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking the quarters out, and when we click on this, just expand the tab, and then you're going to have all the necessary data that we have gotten. And this is going to be yearly sales by revenue. I have gotten yearly sales for revenue. Next, at the third level, let me just go ahead and create. I do not want the years and I do not want the date. Instead of that, I just want to understand from the region wise what's happening when it comes to the data. Is it that we are looking for the count, or is it that we are looking for the sale? I want to keep it the sale. I don't want the count, because when we are talking about the region, we want to understand how much of sales happened rather than the count of the sales. So sales by region, I'm just keeping it as sales by region. I'm going to show you one important chart. Certainly we are going to use the newly advanced charts in Excel along with the bar charts and the column charts. Now look at the scenario. I'm I'm just taking the region out and I just want to take the state. So I have gotten almost all states of India, and we have gotten the sales of or the sales pertaining to each and every one of the region. For this, I want to insert a map chart. I will show you how to do that. And depending on the requirement in the dashboard, we will decide should we be inserting this or not. But in order to analyze the data, what's happening here, we require this data. Now sales by state, I'm going to take it. Then at the next level, let's talk about, so state we do not want. Now we want to see what is the on-time performance. And when it comes to on-time performance, I want to ensure that the products are getting delivered to the customer on time. I don't want to find out what is the total sum of the sale. So I'm just converting this into summarize value by count. I'm converting this into values by count. And we are going to work with few areas. I will show you at a later stage. And at the next one, let me rename this as delivery performance. And here, I just want to take the customer satisfaction level. To what extent they are satisfied and to what extent we have to improve our quality performance, be it in terms of delivery or it be in terms of extending the credit period or be it in terms of providing lots of pay later or a debit card EMI or internet banking so as to facilitate the customer to complete the purchase process. So what I'm going to do here, let me take the on-time delivery, and instead of that, I just want to take the satisfaction level. Sales manager. So let me go back to the data and see what name we have given over there. Okay, it's high. Let's go back over here. Okay, now starting from high, low, neutral, very high, very low, we have gotten the count of sales. And at the last level, I just want to find out how many of the customers are returning to us at over a period of time. Is it the active customers we have gotten more amount of active customer, or is it that we only based on certain promotion the customer comes back to us, which means only the promotion can drive the customer back to the store, otherwise they do not find any interesting products in the store. And we need to look for in what way we can plan out the merchandise, and accordingly we can allow the people to explore, be it online or offline, so as to they come again and again to the shop. So that's what we want to identify at the next level. I'm creating another chart to this. So I'm taking, let the count of sales be there. I'm just taking the customer satisfaction. And in that place, I'm going to bring in the referral status. So how many of the customers are active, how many of them are returning, and how many of them are total customer. So just let me rename this. Customer status. So now I have built in my basic pivot table. For these pivot tables, I'm going to build in the pivot charts. If at all you are at the beginner level, I could see a lot many people. If at all you are at the beginner level, it's always best first you create the pivot table, and based on that over a period of time, you can build in your pivot charts. So first we have gotten the sales by manager. Let's look what are the charts that's available. One of the major disadvantage that most of the freshers performers take all sorts of a date for all types of a data. This is not going to work out. When you want to compare, you have gotten certain charts. When you want to analyze the performance, you have gotten a different set of charts. Out of the total one, you just want to see what is happening with the portion of it. That's when we will use a pie chart or we will use a donut chart. So understand what is the requirement and accordingly choose what are the different types of charts that's available. Excel hosts lots of charts and lots of functionality available within each and every one of the charts. That's what we are going to see today. And first level, I have gotten sales by managers. Just click anywhere inside the pivot table. Immediately you can see this is going to activate to table. Okay, normally, say for example, when I did not click inside the pivot table, one little help we have gotten. But the moment when you click inside this is when we call this as a contextual tabs. Only this is going to open up only based on the requirement, the conceptual contextual tabs you are going to get it. So go and click on pivot table analyze, and here you will find a pivot chart. Just click on this pivot chart. So one way of doing this, or you're not sure regarding what kind of a chart that you can use for your data. So that's when you can go ahead and click on recommended pivot tables and recommended pivot charts also. You do not have to create a pivot table like how we have created. And it's going to show you, hey, come on, probably you can look at this data. And sometimes these informations are, or the way the tables are created is intelligent. And that's one of the best way that you can look at the recommended pivot table. And based on that, you can click on recommended pivot charts as well. So now I just want to see what's happening with the sales manager, the top 5 sales manager, and how much of sales that they have done. Whenever you look into any data, by default, it's going to show you either a column chart or it's going to show you a bar chart. But most of the scenario, it's a column chart. As of now, I'm looking on to create a bar chart. Let me click on creating a bar chart. The bar chart is created. If pivot table is for data dicing, data slicing and data dicing, pivot charts are for picture cues. You tell the people, they will understand. You show the people, this is when they understand the importance of having a particular information and why they should be doing and why they should not be doing. But look at this bar chart. We have just gotten a chart here and this is not arranged in the proper order. Either, let's say, we have gotten, Rosie has, looking at this chart, you can see, Rosie has gotten the highest sales over here. And next to Rosie who has gotten the sale, this is such a cumbersome process that you need to do. Each and every time you cannot be going and finding out who has gotten from this data, you cannot find out. And don't, even at any point of a time, please be assured that your data should be arranged in a well-packed manner. That's very important. So for this, what I'm going to do, just go to the data and sort it from the largest to the smallest. The largest to the smallest. Now look at this scenario wherein Rosie has got the highest sales, but whereas in the chart, you can see the Dipanjan is showing at the first scenario. Look at this one. The Dipanjan is showing at the first scenario and you have gotten Rosie over here. You have gotten Rosie over here. Then what do you do for this one? Okay, I'm just going to show you a simple trick in order to do all these things. Okay, first what you do is just do a right click on this. Just do a right click on the tabs. This is going to get you all the necessary information. At the very first level, what you have to do is hide all field buttons on charts. The moment when you do that, all the buttons are out. Let me do it again. Just go back, right click and click on hide all field buttons on chart. This is going to take all the filters out. One. Second, I'm just going to give a separate title while building the dashboard. But if at all you see, no Karpagam, I don't want to, or I do not have time to do all that, let me give a chart title here. You are most welcome to do that. Just because I'm going to create another title in the dashboard building, so I don't want to do that. So when you want to remove this grid lines, these are all the grid lines that's available. One, you can click on it, or the simplest way what you can do is just click on this scenario and you can take chart title, it's out, total is out. I can take out the grid lines are also out. And I can take the legend also, the legend is also out. But now how do I go ahead and reverse the data? This is the most important one. In what area am I going to reverse the data? Is there a possibility that will I be able to convert this data from one position to another position? These are all very important when you want to deal with your data. So what you can do is, you can just look at this one. We have gotten the gap width over here. When I want to increase the gap width, okay? So what I can do is, I can just do this. So I'm going to have a lots of width over a period of time. And I'm saying, no, I just want the bar size to be bigger. what you can do is you can just reduce it to see you are going to have more spaces. But coming back to our point, we want Rosie at the first scenario, but here it's there. So now what you can do is just right click on this, and at the bottom you will have something called as a format axis. Format axis, click on that one, and here you are going to have something called as categories in reverse order. When you click on this, now you can see Rosie has whatever the values that you have in here. Rosie, Sharon, Ashwita, Krishna, Dipanjan, all this information is available to you at this particular scenario. In the same way, when you want to do it from a smallest to a largest also, you can do it to a great extent. So our first chart, sales by manager, is ready. Now let's go to yearly sales revenue. Now I just want to compare the performance of 1 year to the next year, and from that year to the next year moving forward. So for this, I'm not going to use a bar chart, nor I'm not going to use any kind of a column charts. Instead of that, what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and use a line chart. A line chart is going to show me the relationship that's happening over a period of time. So similarly, first, you can see there is an interaction over here. When I just build in the dashboard, I want to use this only with the slicer and not with the filters over here. Only for this reason, I'm just taking out hide all field buttons on the chart. Go back over here, take out the legend, it's done. Take out the grid lines, it's out, and take out the chart value, this is also out. And by any chance you just want to format this axis also, you can do format axis, and here you can determine what is the maximum value that you want, what is the minimum value that you want, and that you can see for the bounds you can do. And units, how do you want to describe also, you can do it. And do you want to reverse the value in the reverse order, you can look at that one. Again, the number formatting that you have it, the labels you have it, and the tick marks, you can look at this one. So as of now, this is looking good to me, and this is how I wanted the data. And if at all you do not want this, you can remove the axis also. So, but I'm going to keep it to understand what is the variance of this data from one point to the another point. We have gotten Jan, March, May, but Karpagam here it's showing Jan, Feb, March, April. When you insert a line chart and when you want to compare it, it's going to club the data, it's going to have the data, but in between data is going to be taken out, or in other term, not taken out, it's invisible. Jan, Feb is not visible to you, March is visible, April is not visible, and this goes on. So now, if at all you want to change the color of this chart, Karpagam, I do not like this chart. So what you can do is click on this one and go to the shape fill, and whichever the color that you're interested in, you can pick that color. Or what you can do is you can just go back to the fill over here, and in the fill, take whichever the colors that you're interested in, and accordingly you can fill it up. Let me, blue color is really good, so I'm just going to go back to blue color and retain it as such it is going to be. Or whichever the color that you are comfortable with, you can take that color. So my second chart is also over. Now let's try to understand what's happening with the region. What is the number of sales with regard to the region also. So here I'm going to use a column chart, or I'm going to use a bar chart also. So I can just go back here, pivot chart, and from this I can take a column chart, or I can take a bar chart also. I have already used a bar chart, so let me stick to column chart. And here, please be assured that you are going to sort your data either from the smallest to the largest value or largest to smallest. All the time we are most interested to find out what is the largest value to the smallest value that we want to understand. Now you can just go back to this one and take out the legend, the grid lines out, the chart title out, and hide all field buttons on the chart. And you just want to change the color of this. Similarly, like how we have done in the previous one, you can just go ahead and change the chart color also. Or you want to say that, Karpagam, I want to change the chart type itself. I want to change the chart type itself. You can do that, very much you can do that. What you can do is you can do a right click, or you people can just go back to chart, analyze the data, and from this design pattern also you can change chart type. From here you can shift it to a bar chart or whatever the charts that you are looking for, you can do to a great extent. So as of now, I'm going to stick only to the column chart here. This is the most important of all. Just look at this. I have gotten almost all states of India, and this data is not arranged in terms of either the largest value or the smallest value. This is arranged in terms of the states that we have gotten. Now, just let me select the data and go back to pivot table analyze and pivot chart. I want to insert a map chart, but pivot will not allow me to insert the map chart over here. So it's going to tell me, Karpagam, look for a different charts or whatever the new models of charts that we are going to have it. So for this, what I'm going to do, either what you can do, if at all you're going to look at only the top 5 states in terms of a value filter, you can just go ahead and create only the top 5 states. If you have a small data, then I would suggest you to do this. What you can do is just copy this data, and after that, when you click on this, you have gotten get pivot data. This is the new formula in Excel. You can just click on that. It's simple how similarly we refer to the cell reference. In the same way, just insert equal to sign and click on the value. This is going to get it. Hit on OK. And similarly, you can do this for every other scenario when it is a small data. But just imagine when I'm not going to sort this based on the top 10 data. Okay, dear, I'm not going to do this at all in terms of a top 10. I'm just going to increase this to whatever the states that I had, all the states I need to have. So I'm just going to increase it to whatever we had it. Now, how do we bring in get pivot? Imagine when I'm going to do get pivot for all the values over here. How difficult and how cumbersome this is going to be to extract these many number of data from. So what you can do is just select the data. Sorry. I'm just selecting the data and paste it outside your pivot table. Paste it outside your pivot table. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this area, go to insert. From insert, you can click on map. When I click on this, I'm going to get the Indian map. Only for this reason, I did not take the top 5 or the top 10 because it's completely in a scattered direction, and we are not going to have, say, for example, we can have Jammu and Kashmir at the tip of it. At this particular place, we may have it, or we may have it Kanyakumari at a different place, and this is not going to look like an actual chart. Only for this reason, I did not want to do a top 5 or a bottom 5. Now that we have gotten the chart, what are we going to do with this chart? So first level, what I'm going to do, when you just double click on this particular chart inside it, it's going to get you format data series option, and in this one, let the map projection be automatic. Let the map area, it's based on your requirement. As of now, I have gotten all states. Almost all states have gotten some data. So I'm going to take only the country with region. Since my data do not have the data coming from Pakistan or Sri Lanka or Bangladesh or the nearby neighboring countries, I do not have. I have the data only that is related to India. So I'm not going to stick to multiple countries or a region, and I'm not going to check in the world map also. I'm going to take country or the region map. So this is that. And map labels do I want it? I don't want the labels as such, let it be none. But the most important is the series color that you want to do. When you click on this, this is going to show you a sequential 2-color pattern, or you can look at a 3-color pattern also. Let's say now I'm going for the 3-color pattern. By default, this is going to show you the different charts that you are going to have in. Now, for the lowest value, I'm going to check in with the red color. Now you can see automatically based on the data, this has taken what is the chart that we have and accordingly how this is going on. One. And at the next level for the middle value, I'm just going to take in yellow color. And for the highest value, I'm going to check in similar to a the traffic signal. Okay, so I have taken the green color one. Now look at it, looking at the data itself, you will get to know where more amount of sales had happened and where the less amount of sales had happened. Okay, Karpagam, what's the harm if at all I choose a two color? You can do that. And this is how it's going to look at. When you want to bring in lots of eye for detail, then it's always better you stick to a three color data. So now, just going back here, okay, one important information I want to show you. When you click on this, this is going to show you 83% with 83% confidence. Sometimes you may have 60%. Sometimes you want to fit in a data in Italy, and this is not going to recognize the data at all. Believe me, even when I started doing this map chart for Indian map almost a year and a half ago, I was never able to complete it because all the time it kept on showing. I have to train Excel to understand. And the way that each and every one of the state that's mentioned and the way we have mentioned, even if there is going to be a small change in it, Excel maps cannot recognize it. That's more important. Train your data to understand that one. Had it been only India, Bangladesh, and one more thing, if at all you have the data which is known data, what you can do is you can go here and click on data. Within the data, you are going to have the data types. So if you do you have a geographical data or do you have a stock data? So lots of information is available to you. You can click on this. There you can convert this data into geographical geography data or geographical data. This will help Excel to immediately look into that and you're going to have a beautiful one. So now we have inserted a chart map. Let me go back and remove the chart title and the legends also. If you want to keep it, keep the legend. And in the legend, you are going to have, is it that you want it at the top, right, bottom, all that is available then and there itself. Now, let me go to the delivery performance. I just want to find out what's happening with on-time delivery. I don't want to learn about delayed delivery. Delayed delivery is not a great metrics when it comes to order fulfillment, especially from the logistics and supply chain point of view. It's not good. So we want to understand how much of on-time delivery that we are doing. So in order to do this, what I'm going to do at the very first level, let's get the data. I just want to see how much of on-time delivery is happening with the given data. So I have taken this data, and at the next level, I just want to find to the total data what is happening. With the total data, this data 590, what is happening? I'm just dividing this by the total data. Now I get to know we have gotten 0.5969. Let me turn this into a percentage. So only to a tune of 60% we are doing on-time delivery, which means 40% of the time we are delaying the delivery, and this may be one of the reasons that the customer satisfaction is extremely poor, or we are having lots of customer moving away from us only based on discount. If at all they find a jaw-dropping discount, they come back and not in other scenario. One of the yardstick and one of the important metric in terms of order fulfillment. At the next level, okay, delivery performance. Okay. Now for this delivery performance, let me create a chart. So we have gotten, especially whenever it's a binomial or only when only two variables are involved, yes or no, true or false, perform or perish, delivered, not delivered. In all that scenario, I want to take a pie chart. So let me go to the pie chart, but I'm not going to take a pie chart. Instead of that, I just want to take a donut chart. I want to see how much of value it's being created over here. So we have created the donut chart, hide all field buttons, and here only the legend, chart title, let me take out. Now look at this one. What is that we want to find out? Is it that we want to find out about the delivery day, or we want to find out about the delayed delivery percentage? So 60 is the on-time delivery. But look at it, I just want to see the highest value first and the least value at the next level. So just look at this. What you can do is either you can just go back here and sort here itself, or you can go back to your table. It's better to, whatever the changes that you're making, do it with your table. So I'm going to largest to smallest value. Now you can see the blue color shows the on-time value and the orange color shows the delayed value. Okay, now let's take the legend data labels also. So we have gotten 357 and 241, but we entered the percentage only for this reason. I'm not going to keep the data labels here. And one important thing that I want to show you people is the moment when you click on this, you can see the format series data option. The angle of the first slice, as of now, we are at a perfect position. But when you change it, you can see what will happen to your data. It's just going to rotate from where you're going to see your first data. Let me just move it further. Look at it, what happens to your data. You're going to have the delayed one. And this goes on. So it's better you keep it at a 0 degree or a 360 degree. It's going to start from on time, and then it's going to show you the largest value first, then the smallest value. And after that, the donut explosion. Look at this one. What is the distance that you want to see? We do not want to see any distance, so we keep it here. By any chance you want to see similar to a pie chart, what is the proportion or what is the portion that you can take out of it? Then you can use a donut explosion. This is the most important one. Look at it as of now. The donut, I don't like this donut. I want the donut to be exactly like a donut. In that scenario, just look at it. And I'm just going to decrease the size, see what happens here. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now look at this one. What happens to the donut's whole size? When we just increase it, see what happens to the whole size. It's very less. Okay. When you just decrease it, see what happens now. Okay. So when we want the perfect donut, we will keep it at whichever the position that we are looking for. This is good. This is looking good. So we are going to keep it at this level. It depends on how do you want to show this up. So we are done with the delivery performance. At the next level, I just want to create a customer satisfaction. So customer satisfaction, you can show a bar chart. On that you can show a line chart also, or I'm going to take you to a new type of a chart over here. Okay, now let me go to the pivot table analyze, pivot chart. And in the pivot chart, I'm just going to take a bar chart. From the bar chart, you can pick up whichever the charts you want, but I'm looking out for a 100% stack chart. Either you can do this in terms of a 3D format, or you can do it in terms of a 2D format also. Just hover your mouse pointer to see where exactly this is going to be. And this is 100% stack bar. This is what I wanted. And if you want a 3D clustered bar also, you can take it. Just let me show you how this is going to look like. So in terms of a 3D, this is how it's going to look like. But look at this, what we have done in this chart. We wanted to understand what is the customer satisfaction, but we never wanted to understand to which product category this is. Okay. This is when I'm just going to turn this again into a two-dimensional table. Here, let me take the category over here. And within this category also, value filter. Only for the top 5 we have taken. So this is what will happen when you tend to use a bar chart. But we do not want to see the bar chart. Instead of that, what will happen when we use a column chart? So let me show you that as well. Just go to design and change the chart type and use a column chart. So look at this scenario. So this is how your satisfaction chart is going to look like. So now you decide, is it that you are going to take the category out of it or you want to bring it out? Okay, so as of now, I'm just going to take the category completely out of it, and let me stick to this and sort the values from largest to the smallest. And we are going to have this one important information. Okay. Now for this active referral and returning, can we use a pie chart? You can use it, but I'm going to show you the new variety of charts that we can do with this. Just go to pivot table, analyze, pivot chart, and go back to waterfall. This will not allow you to create. So similarly, how I have told you, you can just do outside of it. Copy this, and now select this data, go to insert, from insert, click on a waterfall chart and take this one. Now we are going to have a waterfall chart. Look at this, we have gotten 598, but this is just going to cascade one after the other, and it's not going to give me a true representation of it. So this is when what I'm going to do, just do a right click on it. You are going to get only format data series. I do not want to format all the 4 elements, active, returning, and then referral customers. I don't want to do it. So what you can do is just click on this so that these 3 becomes inactive. Okay, only this particular area you want that to be active. Click on format data point, and you are going to see show connector lines and set as a total 1. So now this is done, and you can go back and click on what is the color that you want. Is it the automatic color that you're looking for, or whichever the color that you want, you can take it. So specifically, let's stick to blue, and we are done. To the overall total value, what's happening. So now you can go back, take out the chart title, take out the grid lines over it, and if you want to keep the legend, keep it, or if you do not want the legend also, that's fine. Data labels we have kept it over here. So far, we have completed all the charts that whatever we want. Now we have to plug in all this data into a dashboard. Creating dashboard, as I have mentioned earlier, it's both science and art. If it is for an internal data, you can create a simple dashboard. But when you're going to circulate and this is going to become a part of your process, it's best suited when you create the dashboard so that everybody can just plug in and play around with the data. Today, I'm not going to take you to the extreme of a great designing dashboards, which we don't do that. And at the same time, we are not going to stick to a basic dashboard. So first, what we can do is when we want to create the dashboard, go back here. This is the entry point for you, the small inverted triangle that you can see over here. The small inverted triangle at this particular point. This is the key point for us. So what you can do is just go click on this one. Go to home and give whichever the color you want. You want a slight blue, or you just want whichever the color that you are interested in. You can leave it white as such, or if you want to bring in any colors also, you can bring it to the entire worksheet, and you can see how this is going to work in this one. So at this level, let me leave with this, or probably a little tinter shade. I'm just going to keep this one. This way, you can keep it. And even before this, doing this kind of one, what you can do is, let's say you're not going to use any color. You're not going to use any color. You just want to get rid of this grid line. You can use the shortcut key Alt P V G. This is going to take out your grid lines. Alt P V G. The grid lines will be out anytime soon. It's out. No, Karpagam, I'm not related to the shortcuts. What you can do is you can go to home page layout from home, and then you can check out view grid lines and you can take it out. But by any chance, Karpagam, what do I do if I want to bring in the grid lines using a shortcut key? The same shortcut key that you're going to use it. Alt P V G, it's going to bring out, and Alt P V G, it's going to take out your grid lines. And whenever we are working with the dashboard, it's better we just get rid of this one. And second, most of the scenario when I create a dashboard, I take the heading also. Now you can see, you don't see ABCD, the row and the column, you do not see it. But if at all you want to see this, you can keep it as such. So this is the first step that we are going to do it here. Okay. So from this, you can just go back and pick up whichever the color that you are interested in at the first level. This is the common template that you can do, but I don't want to do this different one. Let's move on to, I'm going to use a different methodology. Let me show you that as well. So this is going to be the space in which we are going to create this dashboard. So what I'm going to do, I have selected this and hitting on Merchant Center. And after doing this, just let me go and click on whichever the color that you want in for creating the customer dashboard. So I have taken this color, and already we have done Merchant Center. So first, what you can do is these three, use a different color. I'm using a different color. This is Merchant Center, and again from here till this end, just hit on Merchant Center. So now you are going to have a different view when you look at your dashboard. So I'm just going to hit on. So we are going to have a name called as a customer dashboard, and just increase the font size. Customer dashboard. If you want to further increase it, you can do. And I'm just not going to leave the heading as such. Instead of that, what I'm going to do, for the small space, I'm just going to the Insert tab. In the Insert tab, we have got the illustration group. Just go back to this and click on Stock Messages. Sorry. It's taking time to load. Okay. From here, go and click on the icons. This is in fact is a great thing that is introduced in Excel. Instead of creating each and every one of the element on your own, you can do miracles and wonders using this icon. You can look at people, it's just going to show you only the things that's related to the people, or you want analytics, and you have gotten lots of tabs over here. You can just go around, and this is available in the recent versions of Excel. And as of now, we are looking only related to the business. So I can stick only to the business. I can just go here and type the information that's related to business, or from this existing one, I can take this. I'm just going to type this as a business. So we want to see a good thing for building a customer dashboard. So let me stick to this particular picture for creating the dashboards. So now the picture is getting downloaded, and we can crop this. We have gotten the messages over here. So what we can do is, we can ensure to fit this within this particular dashboard. And what are the elements that you want in, you can do this. And after this, I have created a lots of chats. For these chats, I'm just going to create a small spaces to look around. So I'm just going to insert. From insert, I'm clicking on the shapes and pick up whichever the shapes that you are comfortable with, whether you want a bigger shapes. As of now, we have gotten column chart, bar chart, line, map chart, and so many other things. So use your space very wisely. So, and at the same time, let your space be of same one. So let me choose, this color is too hard to handle. Okay, let's say this color. And if at all you're going to use the similar one, what you can do is you can hold and hit Control and create a copy of this everywhere. And if you're going to tell me, no, Karpagam, I'm not going to use this shape, or I'm going to use some other shapes, then you can do that as well. What are the shapes that you are planning for? That one you can take it. Now let me just go ahead, and if at all I want to change the shape format, you can go to edit, change shape. Let's say I'm going to take this shape very much. You can do this or whichever shape, but most to the great extent, keep it as a common to all the one. You're not going to change it to a great extent. So we have done with this. At the next level, similar to how we have done to the charts also, we have to insert the images. So I'm just going back to the picture, the stock images. Click on icons. And choose whichever the images that you are looking out for. Check in this image. Check in this one. So decide upon which are all the information that you are looking out, and accordingly you can take these informations. So as of now, we are inserting 5 pictures. Now look at this. This is going to be really cumbersome. Never try to just drag it as such. It's going to drag together, and never try to ungroup it. Instead of it, just click on it. And when you take it one after the other, it's going to come out. That's all. One way of doing this is what you can do is you can just go ahead and insert a text box. And you can copy these text boxes everywhere. And within this text boxes, you can insert this image also. You can do that. One way of doing that. Let me show you that as well. Let's say you're just going to do this. And this is going to involve lots of work to you, bringing it back, setting it backward, forward, and all that. So instead of that, what you can do is, no need of inserting a text box. Just take it there, place it, and just crop it to the space that's available to you. That's all you can do. Just adjust it, that's all. And look into that, whatever the things that you are going to work in, and accordingly let it match according to that. And already I have told you, I'm not going to use the same chart title, whatever is available in the pivot chart when we are creating, because for this relevant images, we are going to create the suitable titles also. If you want to use any building images or something, do not straight away do it in Excel. Instead of that, you can just create this in PowerPoint, and then you can bring those informations over here. So just because I do not have any other information and due to time constraint, I'm just copying the same information, same images over here. Now we want to give each and every one of the title over here. So I'm just going to insert text box and insert a text box and bring this text box, and I'm just copying this. So we need the titles for all. Hold the control key, left and the control key. This will copy the information. Now first, what we are going to do, sales by year data we are going to do. Just go and click on shape format, and in the shape fill, give on no fill. This goes and sits as such, and remove this outline also. No outline. This looks like as if it is created or it's just infused on it. That's how it's going to look like, sales by year. In the same way, what you can do is, we have gotten sales by year, just look at whatever we have gotten. Then sales by managers at the managers level. Then we have gotten sales, region-wise sales. Region-wise sales we have gotten. In the region itself, we will put the region as well as we will put the statement chart. And here we are going to take the delivery performance. And here, the customer satisfaction. Customer status. Customer status we have got it. Now, it's all about the alignment and making it look like as if you have worked as such. It's very simple to create these kind of templates for your data. The next thing what we are going to do is, instead of doing the formatting one after the other, just let me go to the shape format. In the shape fill, no fill, shape outline also, no outline. We are good to go. If you want to increase the font size, select all this together and increase the font size. And this is going to eat away lots of space. Okay, so this area we have done. Now the last thing, not last, but the one what we have to do is, we have to plug in the required information from all these charts. First, let me go to the sales by manager. Copy. Either you can cut the data and paste it, or you can copy the data and paste this data. We have to ensure that this is going to be within this particular range. Sales by year. I'll show you how to infuse this within the data also. Next one, sales by managers. Sorry, sales by manager is here. Sales by year, I need to take it. I'm just copying the region-wise sales data. Then the delivery performance. Or else we can copy all this charts together, and then also we can align this one. Customer satisfaction. This is customer buy status. And already I have told you the same one we are going to insert map chart also. Just because we are going to do 2 charts, can increase little space towards it. Okay, now at the next level, what we can do is just right click on this on all the charts, and you will come across something called as a format chart area. Click on this one, and by default, it's going to show you the border color as a automatic one. Okay, in the fill, take no fill. Automatically, you can see this gets infused, and in the border also, no line. Now you can see this goes and sits exactly on the data. Similarly, we can do it for every other chart. Format chart area, no fill, no line. This is done. No fill, no line. Format chart area, no fill, no line. So you can see this is going to give you a great look when it comes to your dashboard, wherein you can see it looks like as if you have created each and every one of this. It never looks like that you have infused your data. No line over here. This is also got infused over here. Similarly, we can do it for everything. In the fill, no fill, border, no line. Similarly, for the delivery performance also, border, no line, and in the fill, no fill. So now this is looking great. So we have infused all our chart into the data now. If at all you feel that this is too much the space is too much for this one, you can just reduce the space. And you can just bring this data a little up. Okay, this is done. The last step, what we are going to do, we have to insert slicer. Just click on any charts over here. Go to pivot chart analyze, you will have insert, or you can go to insert also. There also you will have slicer. We go to pivot chart analyze, click on slicer. Now look at it. You have created a lots of charts. Is it necessary that we need to have all this slices? All needs to be created, or how this is going to be? So what I'm going to do, I want year data, then I want by region, then I want by sales manager, and I want by category. But by any chance, if you want it by a referral also, you can take it, but this is going to become cumbersome, or this is going to become clumsy, or your dashboard becomes extremely heavy. But if it is required, certainly you can take all this. So we have gotten these many number of a slicer. Now what I'm going to do, the most important is, okay, at the last I will show you. So we do not have these data. What I can do is, I can just reduce the space of this one. And we can have it. Similarly, for the referral one also, we can have a smaller space over it. For the region, smaller space over it, and so on. Now what you can do is, look at all this. Two important scenario, just right click on these slices. You will have slices sitting at the bottom. Click on this one. And you can see, if at all you do not want this header, something called as a years, you can uncheck this one. But when I just want to use this filter, certainly I require display header. And whenever your data has got no value, you can click on hide items with no data and click OK. Similarly, you can do this for everything. But now you're going to tell me, Karpagam, look at this. Already we have filled it and where you're going to put it. So this is when what you can do is click on this. And now look at it. Let's see how many I have gotten lots of category. Okay, dear? But when you look at the sales managers over here, okay, we do not have much of the sales manager. Now what I can do is I can just go increase the number of columns. As of now, this is for the category. You can just, and which are the number of columns that you wanted, you can increase accordingly. In the same way, you can increase the column width to 2 and slices setting, hide values with no data. So now we can see we have gotten only top 5 people. So accordingly you can take it. But still, Karpagam, this is not looking good. Look at the most important one. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to minimize this ribbon space, okay, this ribbon space, because we are not going to do anything with the ribbon. The shortcut key to hide is Control function F1 key. Control function F1 key. This will help you to hide the ribbon completely, or no shortcuts. What you can do is you can just go out here. Now when I click on show tabs, you can see the tabs is going to be visible over here. Show tabs and commands, it's visible. When you do not want it, you can just go auto hide ribbons, even if you do not want the ribbons. Now look at it, how much of space I'm going to have it. Okay, but at least I want the tabs at least these tabs, so that I want to erase off all the ink that I have used on this. Now look at this one. I'm just going to increase the width of it. Slices setting, hide items with no data. Our job is not over yet. We have gotten the data and all this is fine. But when I'm just going to click on the books, you can see this is only the things happen only at a few areas and not in any other area. Can you see it happening only in the sales when I click on this, but not in any other area? When I click on the managers, again, it's interacting only at a few area and not at every area. So what we have to do is we have to report the connection, or in other terminology, we need to ensure that all these pivot tables are connected to each other. Just check in all these tables out in every filter. Click OK. In the same way, report connections to this one and check in all pivot filters, report connection. Okay. Same way here also report connection. So now look at this. When we are just going to hit on one area, this is going to interact with all the data over here. Look at this, 2019. Mobile phone. Look at this. The data is changing microwave. And we want to find out how many referral for this category. How many referral for this particular category. Then for the North region, that we can find out what is the sales that's done by Kirti in this area or by Apirupa. All this can be found out, and you can, using this, you can clear off the filter. So this is the best way that you can use filter to a great extent. The moment when you start giving or establishing the connections between the different tables of the pivot table, that's when you're going to have the interactivity. I'm sure this session was interesting and informative. Over to you, Faraz. I'm there.
Thank you, Karpagam. That was really an insightful session. I know you can, if time would permit, you would have really put all that magic effort. But with this limited number of time, you have really did great stuff. I really liked, start to end. I was been over here and watching, and everybody was enjoying the session. And I think we are already running out of time. As I told you, that there is a quick session, small session, only for 5 minutes. And I'll get back to you, Karpagam, again. So I'll just hand it over to my friend Dick, who is going to show some great add-in he was in working on. So Dick, over to you. Are you here?
Thank you
Yeah.
very much. Can you make sure that you, oh, okay, you've allowed me to share. Ah, you're thinking ahead, aren't you? Okay, good. Thank you, uh, Clara Karpagam, right? Is I pronounced that correctly? Thank you very much. Let me just get something set up here. One thing. Yes. Come here. All right. Welcome to Excel Publish version 2. That's a picture of me pre-COVID. And next week I'm going to get all my hair cut from 15 months of growing and go back to looking like that. But that's sort of what I look like. My name is Dick Moffat, and I will be showing you the Excel Publish add-in that is for Microsoft Excel for Windows. The irony is that everything that you showed in your presentation, Karpagam, could be, we could really get value out of Excel Publish with that data. Um, just a minute here. There we go. In short, Excel Publish is an Excel add-in. It has been built by myself and my partner in Holland, David Hoppe. It works inside your existing Excel files, and it does ETL, extract, transform, and load of specific data you wish to show to your target audience out of an Excel file. Excel Publish takes, for example, the results of a pivot table like this and converts those results, no matter what the shape or the features of your pivot table, into properly conformed relational data tables and publishes that data to, for example, Power BI right away. So there it is, the publish, and there's a quick example of that same data showing in Power BI. Excel Publish is push technology. This data that has been pushed, you can see on the right here, there is a table, which is the data that came out of the file that I'm going to show you in a second, can be used in sources for Power BI reports and dashboards. That data could also be used by Tableau or ClickView or anything. Then the secret is when you update the contents of your workbook, say you refresh it at the end of a month, for example, by changing and adding this information, you can then with one click, Excel Publish will refresh the data in Power BI, and the data will be immediately be reflected in your Power BI dashboard. Then when you update the contents, it will, every time you do it, it will refresh it. Now there's no need for a data gateway, and your source detailed data stays where it belongs on your PC. And you just, I guess we look at it that Excel, that Power BI is an analytical tool, not a query tool. So the idea is to publish summary data out of Excel, because right now getting your all the work you've done in Excel out to your audience, it's actually a lot of work. This is a very simple way to get this data. It improves security of your data. It improves performance in Power BI. And you can use the tech any way you wish, but we believe that you should use these summaries that we're going to show you. So let me show you the next trick. Let's dive right in. This is a file, and this is the file that I'm looking at. Now, we have a list of employees. There is Alice in Wonderland, Behind, Carrie Oakley, April Weeks. These are all dummy employees in a company. The interesting thing about this, though, is that their names, their actual people's names, their actual ages, and their sex and their salary. Now, here's the deal. If I want to publish this using Excel Publish, all I have to do, if I can get this out of my way, thank you, is go to Excel Publish, and Excel Publish has its own custom ribbon. If I want to publish this table, I just go tag data, and it comes up with the name table one, which is the name of the table, but I can call it whatever I want. I can call it detailed data, and I can go add. And what happens now, if I go into the manage tags list, I have, in this case now, two separate areas that I have tagged. I previously tagged another area that I'm going to show you in a second. Now, if I were to publish this right now by clicking on Publish Excel Data, it would publish this data and the other data that is tagged. And the other data over here is a pivot table that is based on this employee's data set. Now, what you can, without any trouble, publish this employee's table to Power BI. But the fact is that when you're doing that, you're exposing people's names, the information about people that you really should not be publishing. I mean, in today's world of security and things like GDPR, it's really important not to publish this kind of information. And in actual fact, in most cases, say you have a very large company, as opposed to this small example, looking at individual employees is not the concern. What the concern is this department, how many people are in this range of ages, how many are male and female, et cetera, what is the full-time equivalent, et cetera. This is a pivot table that is based on a Power Pivot data model that was created using this list of employees. And we've added their age range and their department, and that is now reflecting in here. So we don't have details of the employees' data. If you were to publish this and send this around, anybody could go and just was shown, you could double click and you could see every employee's individual information. And what we're saying is you shouldn't. So here's how it works. You go to Excel Publish. Pardon me? Oh, somebody close Power Pivot. Good for me. Okay, Power Pivot. Close. Thank you. If I go to publish this, it's going to publish this data set. Instead, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to remove the detail. And you see it has a full featured UI related to it. So when I go publish, all I do is click it. And what it's doing is it is grabbing the data from that pivot table and it is massaging it into a relational format. And then it is publishing that information directly to Power BI. It is sending it to an intermediary file, we call a target file, and then it is publishing to Power BI. You don't need to publish it to Power BI, but it is a very easy option. And you can publish to any workspace or multiple workspaces in Power BI. Now, what it's done is it has now published this data, and it's going to come back with this dialog box that says that it is complete. So let's see what's happened here. Let's go and let's look over here. Okay, it's finished, right? And I click close. When I go over here to my Power BI, this is the HR analysis. What I've done is this data was refreshed at 3 p.m. and 34 seconds, which was exactly less than a minute ago. And this is the data that I published from my Excel file. And I refreshed it. And this is the same exact data from my Excel file here, published at that exact time. If I go in and I change any numbers, say I promote somebody and give them a big salary increase like that, and then I go refresh all, and then I publish again. Oops, sorry about that. Then I publish, oh, that's interesting. Okay, fine. Then I publish again. That's fine. That problem is within the file, not within Excel Publish, by the way. You know what? You know the way it works with demos. And so what it's doing is publishing this data again that reflects the change that I made. Now, if I go back over here and I refresh this page, watch the upper right-hand corner and watch your charts. I didn't wait long enough. There we go. Let's do it again. 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Hold on a second, please. Oh, it's still thinking. Sorry about that. What it does is it takes the data from the pivot table, it massages it into a table, and it publishes that table. Now, keep in mind something. I don't want to go in detail into it in my 5 minutes, but I want you to understand something. What we're doing is we're publishing the results of the pivot table in this case. We're not publishing the raw data underneath it. The raw data that makes up this pivot table is not what we're publishing. We absolutely do not want to do that. So what happens is now it's publishing, and now it's publishing this to my workspace. Sorry, it's a bit slow because I'm running multitasking here with multiple versions of lots of things, and it's completed. And again, the fact is, the faster the computer, the faster this happens, but it is actually quite quick. Now, if I go back here and I refresh, this will now reflect the time of the refresh that I just completed now, I hope. And there it is, 30240. So this data has been updated immediately simply by publishing this in Power BI. Now let's go back to this, to my PowerPoint. Okay, come on. Thank you. Now, here's how this is what you can distribute the different results of your models in Excel. You can publish this data into Power BI, no problem. But one of the interesting things we have is the ability to create a report using Excel Publish, where the data, instead of going to Power BI, you tap into it in Excel. And you can then use that data, which is imported into an Excel file as it is. So for example, your pivot table summary is only the summary data that gets brought into Excel. And that data is brought automatically into Power Query, and it's added to the data model. And that data is then available for you to do any kinds of the things like was shown in the previous presentation. This is the same data dropped into Excel, and this is the data dropped into Power Pivot. Now, here's my point. These 9 types of objects can be published from your Excel file using Excel Publish. There's only like 2 types that can be published right now and seem to ever be published from Excel to Power BI or pulled from Power BI. Those are name tables or worksheets. So for example, with Excel Publish, you can select a range of cells that's not named or not a table, and you can publish that. You can select an area of a spreadsheet that is named, and if in the same way as I clicked on that table of employees, you just tag it and it'll say, okay, this range name is now tagged, and I will publish whatever data is in that range name. And you know what happens with range names? They expand and they contract, no problem. Data tables, that's what I showed you with the employee detail listing. Now, sometimes with Power Query, what I find, sometimes I'll just download aggregated data from Power Query into a table instead of into a pivot table. It's like if you're a cat or a dog person. And so one of my big solutions, I'm actually publishing aggregated data from a data table created by Power Query. No problem. Every one of these types of objects can be published on a continuous basis is the term we use. That means that if you want to, you can say, I want to keep 24 copies of what I publish. because the default is it overwrites the last version, right? Which is most of the time you're going to do that. You overwrite at the end of the month. This is my monthly summary. And next month, it's a new monthly summary. But by using the continuous option in XLP, which is just a couple of clicks, you can actually keep multiple versions, as many as you want. So for example, you could keep all 24 uh, months of a 2-year period of sales information so you can do your analysis and your trends over a 2-year period. After the 25th month, the first month gets dropped. So you're keeping 24 months of information. This is useful for that. It's also useful for scenarios. You get a multiple scenarios. Consolidate. We can merge multiple sheets that go across. Say you have multiple divisions in your company, east, west, north, south. Each one of those can be on a separate page in your worksheet in your workbook. And so you can say, I want to consolidate starting with east and include the next four worksheets. And it will consolidate those 4 worksheets into one single data table. You can unpivot data, which means you can take a natural traditional Excel model and convert it to a data table. I'll show you that quickly on my way out. Dynamic arrays, you can publish dynamic arrays using Excel Publish, no problem. Because one of the things about dynamic arrays, they grow and they shrink. So with Excel Publish, you can set up an area that allows it to shrink or to grow. And Excel Publish will not publish blank rows. So if you publish a data and there's blank rows in your data, we just ignore those. They do not get published to the target. Of course, as I showed you, you can publish pivot tables of any shape or design. And we have a thing called cubed pivot tables. If your pivot table has things that are non-additive, like averages or distinct counts, we can create, in effect, an OLAP cube of your Excel data, and we produce a special DAX function created by David that allows you to manage that information and go up and down your hierarchy. Now that is the basics of this Excel Publish add-on. I'm sorry it's so short, but that's it. With Excel Publish, you can do all of your data management for your Power BI reports in Excel. Do you get what I just said? You can actually do the work in Excel. You can create relationships in Excel and they get transmitted to Power BI. You can do DAX measures with your data. You use DAX measures or anything you want in your original file. Excel Publish does not change your original file. All it does is it grabs information about objects that you've chosen to tag. But in the intermediary, you can establish relationships and DAX measures of your data that you've published. You can format there, and then you can use the Power BI UI and its distribution story that you want to publish. You can use Excel Publish quickly and easily right out of the box, or you can dig into its advanced capabilities and just get her done, as they say. Now, that's my 5 minutes. I think it was close to 5 minutes, and I'm pleased. As an attendee, you can request a perpetual Excel Publish license by reaching out to one of the emails above. I included mine for Dick and one for David at Excel Publish, but I also threw in my P-Logic, my own business account, in case you're used to communicating me that way. Now, what I just said is, if you request it, we will give you not only a copy, which you can also download from our website, excelpublish.com, but we will give you a perpetual license to use this add-in. And this is the case for you. If we decide to start charging down the road, because somewhere along the way we're going to make money, doesn't affect your license. Your license will be perpetually free. So thank you very much. And I hope that this was educating. End of slide. Yes, there we go. Okay, so now I'm going to stop the share. And I'm back. So thank you very much. I think I did keep to the limit, did I not?
Yeah, no worries, but it's such a wonderful application, and I don't want to miss this chance, connecting this dashboards and showing this of your the great add-in,
Yeah,
So
if, like my answer is, why are you using Excel? You're using Excel to do analysis, like she was doing, right? Uh, carp, carp.
Karpagam.
Yeah, her. I'm sorry with her name, but everything she did was exactly perfect. Thank you, Carp again. Everything she did was exactly perfect. Everything you created could be published to Power BI or could be used in an Excel publish report, which then, and this is the big thing, when you distribute that report, you're not distributing original data. Like your example wasn't a problem because it was just sales by region by sales manager. But if it was actual information about employees like I used, or information about customers or suppliers, this is information that you cannot publish, right? If you have other people's information, it is your job to secure that information. And everybody's sending Excel files all over the place. No, 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 no. What you want to do is summarize the data, and Excel Publish is designed to publish the summaries, the clean, secure summaries, information that only you care about, and
Wow.
publish that to Power BI or to create an Excel dashboard like you did using the data that we published. So there you go. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Rick.
I'm sorry about your
Thank you,
name,
Rick.
Karpagam.
There was question. I think you have already answered the question. There was a question been asked about the licensing. But since you are giving the attendees those a year free, they are really happy.
People like
And
free
thank you very
stuff.
much.
I think the
Definitely,
term
I
is
would definitely going to. I'm definitely going to play around with this add-in and definitely give feedback. Now, coming to you,
that's what
Karpagam.
we're looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, and coming to you, Karpagam, thank you very much. I know it's late light in India right now. I think it's around like 1:30 right now, and you're awake for us. And this session was really amazing. It has been extended. It is the longest session on our meetup so far. And I would thank you, the attendees. They are been staying so long. That's proof that the session was really, if people are interested to know, grab more, and we hope to see you some more sessions in coming up in for our future meetups. And we are just going to end from YouTube live, and we might stay for some time on Zoom. But any last words for our audiences from YouTube, or any last message, Karpagam? This is, I always ask my speakers.
Wow. Thank you so much
Any
for us.
anything like any thought of any Einstein thought or your personal thought, you can give it to us.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. It's wonderful interacting with all of you, and especially I could see my great friend Faraz here, Alan, Claudia, and I need to get along with so many other people over here. And not only that, I could see lots of people from India joined.
Wonderful.
Yes, that's indeed a great one. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Faraz. Thank you, Alan, and thank you everyone for joining me today.
Thank you.
My going out, Dick. I'm going to speak very short. Is that on August 12th? Apparently, I'm going to be presenting a much more detailed analysis of this product in Alan Murray's London group. Okay, right, Alan? Shake your head up and down, please. There. Okay, and I will drill down in more detail and not talk so fast. Thank you, though, very much for fitting me in on short notice. Bye.
Thank you. Signing off from the YouTube. Bye, and see you at the next meetup.
Bye, everyone.